Marley minute. Yeah! Marley minute. Boys, victory, puppy, championship, victory, puppy, yeah! Good things come to those who wait. Boys, it's officially summer. Wanna go outside? Yeah. The Toronto Marlies win the 2018 Calder Cup. The Marlies win Game 7 of the Calder Cup final 6-1 over the Texas Stars. First things first, congratulations to the Texas Stars on an incredible season. They finished 12th in the league. They had 90 points, which tied them in the standings with the Tucson Roadrunners, who actually played 8 fewer games than the Stars. And yet they were dominant, losing only 4 games in the first 3 rounds. And against the Marlies, forcing 7 against the Marlies, they didn't always use the prettiest hockey, but they got the job done. Mike McKenna just had to pull a rabbit out of his hat one more time, and it was too much to ask. The Marlies clobbered the Stars in the shot column in Game 6, didn't matter. Game 7 they do it again, and they managed to get the job done. Curtis McKenzie led the entire Calder Cup playoffs in scoring with 11 goals, and he finished second in points with 20. Mike McKenna finished with a .927 save percentage, and trust me, it was a lot higher before the game. And honestly, I think the Marlies outmatched them before the series even started, but they knew they needed a few things. Gotta get good goaltending, gotta be opportunistic, sneak behind the Marlies defense, and it seems like a simple thing to prepare for, but the Stars fool them with it every single game. And it almost worked in Game 7, which, by the way, let's talk about it. By the end of the first period, the Marlies were out shooting the Stars 19-7, but that does not tell the full story at all. In the first 5 minutes, the Marlies allow a breakaway. The Stars hit 2 posts. Garrett Sparks getting right back on that pony, and he was a little jittery, a little all over the place, but it doesn't matter. He kept the puck out. That's all we're looking for in Game 7. Winner take all! About halfway through the frame, Stars try to exit their own zone. Andreas Johnsson breaks it up. Alton and back to Johnsson. Johnsson puts a shot on for Grundstrom for the tip, no dice. But he takes off to the net. Grundstrom sees that, passes the puck. Johnny on the spot. The Marlies have the 1-0 lead. Said it before, I'll say it again. Johnsson did not start this series great, but as it went on, he got better and better. And Game 7, I thought, was his best. Out of all the players the Marlies have, and they have some very impressive players, obviously, they won the Calder Cup, Johnsson looks like he does not belong. Like, Dermott is extremely talented, and he's better than most of his peers, but I look at his game and I go, well, he could probably benefit from a little bit more AHL time. Johnsson, no, he's done. It's not fair. And to their credit, listen to all the names I just said. Alton and Grundstrom, that line was clicking again. It wasn't just one guy. Dying seconds of the period. Moore streaking through the neutral zone. He's going as fast as he can. He's got 3 stars in front of him. He doesn't care. It's like Grand Theft Auto. The more stars you have, the faster you drive. Moore to Mueller, back to Moore. To Marchman in the slot. Take a knee, buddy. Bombs it, and it's 2-0 Marlies. Look at the back of Marchman's jersey. It'll tell you the score, 2-0. The beginning of the period was a little jittery, but wow, did the Marlies just turn it on and dominate for the rest of the first. And that happened in Game 6. They just didn't get the goals, but what happened also in Game 6 was the Stars came out firing in the second. Sure enough, puck loose to front. Oh my god, oh my, what happened there? There's a highlight on the Marlies YouTube channel, Garrett Sparks save. I don't know if it was a save. Hetherington either missed the net or got robbed. The Marlies come within a hair of only being up 1. Stars come in again. Oh my god, the puck is in the crease. Sparks covers it up, or did he? Or I don't know. The Stars are celebrating like they scored a goal, which is actually a great move. When I did Dragon Boat in high school, our coach, Mr. Medill, said if the race looks close at the finish line, celebrate like you won. It's a high school Dragon Boat race. They don't have finish line technology. Act the part and they might believe you. And the review was weird because they wave it off. They go, no. And then there's a long pause and I'm just standing there talking hockey with Adam, Jesse, Fisher. And I'm going, this commercial break is awfully long. And they come out again and they go, no goal, and everyone cheers. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't know that was up for debate still. The Stars came so close, but that's no goal. That's the sound a heart makes. It's beautiful. And once again, the Marlies do push back as the period goes on. They outshoot the Stars 10-15 in the frame, but the Stars, I think, had the better chances. That's the interesting thing. The Marlies dominated in shots for Game 6 and Game 7, but I'd be curious to know what the scoring chances were. I don't think they were as far apart as the shots. And we head to the third period with the score the same way it was in the first period, 2-0. The Marlies are 20 minutes away from a Calder Cup! A team in the Leafs organization has to defend a lead in an elimination game in a Game 7. And Travis Dermott and Andreas Johnsson just like, okay, know that feel. Actually, speaking of Dermott, he did not play in this game. They put in Andrew Nielsen again. And by the way, like, some people seem to be down on Andrew Nielsen. He's a very capable AHL defender. Like, last night should have been confirmation that we're spoiled. And I've always argued, dude, if a player's injured, rest them. The example I always use was Tyler Johnson in the Stanley Cup final in 2015. 2015. Yes, he had a great playoff, but I think he had a fractured wrist. Did the Lightning have players on their AHL team that were as good as Johnson? No. But did they have any players who were better than Johnson with a broken wrist? Probably. And you go, wow, what a bold decision by Sheldon Keefe to put Nielsen in the lineup instead. No. From Sportsnet's Chris Johnston, Travis Dermott made the call not to dress for Game 7 because of a shoulder injury. He said it was the toughest decision of his life, worse than choosing the OHL over NCAA, which he agonized over for months. Like, you know, you talk about the term manning up. Man up! Toughen up! Man up! I think it's typical of hockey culture to be like, I don't care what injury you got, it's Game 7, so man up! What Travis Dermott did for his team prior to Game 7 is manning up. That's maturity. That's honesty. That's selflessness. You think it would have been selfless to play through the injury? No, that'd be selfish. You're potentially putting your team's chances at a championship at risk because you want to be the hero? No, he swallowed his pride, made the right decision, and put his faith in a teammate. That is unbelievable leadership, and without even playing in the game, Travis Dermott had a huge impact. He should be extremely proud. But enough of that little rant, we're not done. 3.5 minutes into the third, stop me if you've heard this before, Stars trying to exit the zone, and the Altonen Grunstrom Janssen line won't let them. Janssen keeps it in, the Stars get it back, Grunstrom strips it. Janssen takes it, spins, waits, fires a pass, scores, Grunstrom! The other number 10 puts the Marlies up 3-0! And a teeny part of my Leaf brain was like, that's gonna make the comeback more heartbreaking. Just shut up! This is a different time, have some faith! Don't tell me to shut up, you shut up, you shut up! As you can tell, I needed this win. Now, a lot of people I've spoken to over the past few weeks have been like, oh man, the Marlies top line is gonna be the Leafs fourth line next year. Altonen, Grunstrom, Janssen, amazing. And I'm like, yeah, right. And they're like, you know, half joking. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea. Dude, they're so good. They're fast, they're snarly, they're speedy, but the chemistry though. And Grunstrom got the goal, he finished the play, but that play was just another example of most people are here, Andreas Janssen is here. A little over halfway through the period, the Stars put it on, they're banging away in front, it's chaos, I have no idea what's going on, the whistles are going, the Stars are celebrating what just happened. Once again, no goal light for the Stars, but yay, just act the part. And so, they review it. And after, again, another lengthy review, they go, good goal. And you know, people booed or whatever, but it wasn't loud, and people were just like, I wonder why that counted. Because you can't see everything that's going on in that dog pile in front of the net. It looked to me like maybe Sparks' pad got pushed in the net, but I didn't see where the puck was. I wonder why this goal counted. And then following the announcement, they showed the goal on the screen. And it is one of the loudest collective boos I have ever heard live. Dude, they show it on the screen, the puck doesn't go in. And I'm like, okay, I can't wait to watch this when I get home so I can really look. Because they called it a goal. Surely they must have known for sure. It's obviously a goal. No refs are that bad. And I watch a replay again, and I'm looking at Sparks' blocker, and it's right near the puck, and I'm looking at his glove, and I'm like, oh my god, where's his glove? He's just barehanded. Sparks was bleeding after the play. The Marlies were going all out, man. I saw Miro Altonen try to block a shot with his face. But anyway, I've watched the replay so many times, the puck doesn't go in, man. The only way it might have gone in is if the puck flipped onto its side and was like a millimeter over the line for a millisecond, which that would still be a goal. But how you look at the angles that they have and decide, yep, for sure, I don't know. I mean, you talk about the players being nervous in a game like this. I wonder if the officials weren't too. There was one play in the third period, clear as day, the puck goes up and hits the mesh. Half the arena goes, ah! The play just keeps going, and thank goodness the Stars didn't score on that. It was in the Marley zone. And it doesn't really matter now, but I feel a little bit bad for Garrett Sparks because he could have had a shutout in Game 7 of a championship clinching game, and they took it away from him because it might have gone in. That was a goal worthy of Barney the Dinosaur, because anything can be a goal if you use your imagination. To me, the puck hits Rosen's skate twice, he played the hero, it didn't go in. And now, for some reason, the Stars are within 2, and they're on the bench going, that's 1. But it did give birth to one of my favorite battling chants ever. Let's go, Marlies! Ref, you suck! 4 minutes left. Andreas Janssen has the puck in his own zone. He has no one to pass to, so who does he give it to? Himself! Passes it off the board and darts around the Stars player, gathers it up himself, rushes in, takes the shot, it goes off the Stars defender, and the Marlies take a 4-1 lead. Jansson's second goal of the game. with less than 4 minutes to go. And again, that little Leaf part in my head is like, okay, the Stars have to score a goal every minute and something. Every minute in math. I can't do this right now. That, by the way, is Jansson's 10th of the playoffs, one off of the lead, and he didn't even play in the full thing. He was a little bit preoccupied, you know, with the NHL playoffs. Between the NHL and AHL, this was actually Jansson's 22nd playoff game this season. With time dying out, the Stars empty their net. Ben Smith gets the puck, hits the red line, shoots it, and fills it. That's 5-1 with 2 minutes to go. And with less than a minute to go, for good measure, Mason Marchment just throws it on. I don't even think he... this is strange to say, and I just caught myself before I said it, but I don't think he meant to score. And I'm not editing it out because I want myself to feel bad for saying it. Anyway, Mason Marchment scores his second of the game. It's 6-1 with 55 seconds to go. They show a shot of Kyle Dubas in the press box, and oh, he looks like he's ready to cry, and I think I'm ready. And then the final countdown. The Toronto Marlies are Calder Cup champions! Now, I shot a lot of clips on my phone, and I thought I was making a lot of articulate points and very poignant points, pointed points, and they actually all came out like this. Now, what I mean by that's one, I mean the Leafs are not done. The Leafs organization is not done. However, I do want to set something straight. Mission accomplished. Now you might go, wait, what? The Stanley Cup is the ultimate goal. Now listen, these players wanted to make the NHL when the season began. Of course, you want to make the NHL. But while they were working towards that goal, they were winning games with the Toronto Marlies. And when the playoffs began, they were competing for a Calder Cup with the Toronto Marlies. And when the Leafs got eliminated, guys like Johnsson and Dermott only had one thing left to do. Play for the Marlies and win a Calder Cup while you're there. In Game 7, what do you think the Marlies were focused on? Making the show? I'm sure they'd take it, but you know what would help? If you win the Calder Cup. The Toronto Marlies' mission from the moment the season began was to win the Calder Cup. They did it! There's a lot of cliches that are overblown, but one thing that I think has some value is learning how to win. Knowing what it takes to win. Dude, as a fan, I'm looking going, man, it's mid-June, how are they still playing hockey? But they stayed motivated throughout. They know the grind of 4 rounds of playoff hockey with professionals, 200+ pound bruisers. Speaking of which, shout out to Mitro Timashov throwing the body around last night. He's listed at 5'10", $192, and he was an absolute torpedo. Kyle Dubas, after he was hired as Leafs GM, was talking about how much validation he felt he would have got from a Marlies win. Remember, that guy built these Marlies, and Sheldon Keefe, yeah! And Kyle Dubas, yeah! After the game, I've never seen the coach and GM act like that after a cup win. Fire! I love it! And they deserve it. Putting together a fantastic team of young and old, excellent draft picks, university signings, AHL veterans, former NHL players, guys from all over the place, Canada, the United States, Sweden. By my count, the Marlies had 47 guys play for them this season. And just like that, Toronto has a professional men's hockey trophy. The women have been holding it down. Shout out Toronto Fury. But for the guys, it's been time. Questions? Championship questions? Did Travis Dermott manage to kiss everyone in the locker room? No, I don't think so. I mean, there just wouldn't have been enough time. But following along with everyone's Instagram stories, I assume he finished kissing everybody while dancing on the bar at Real Sports. If you haven't seen them all, I know Andrew Nielsen had some on his Instagram. Dmitro Timashov had some really good ones. You see Timothy Liljegren dancing on the bar. Besides the pick, is Colin Greening the best part of the Dion Phaneuf trade? That's actually a good question, because I'm starting to think about the AHL differently than I used to. Like, there's a lot more that goes into development. Like, Rich Clune only played, I think it was 43 games for the Marlies, and he wasn't in Game 7, but he was incredibly important to that team off the ice. Greening was one of the guys they brought in, and in fairness, he's on an NHL deal. They could have called him up if they needed to, but he's one of those guys that they brought in to be a leader on and off the ice, and he was. We wanted the young guys to get in there and learn what it takes to win. Well, he helped them get there. So did he not help with the development of the Leafs' young player? It's a silly argument, but it's not the worst one. How am I still awake? Are you pleased the curse is broken? There never was a curse! Any questions? For real though, I'm so happy for everyone who like really supported the Marlies, went to almost every game or all the games. Mark here is from the UK and watched every game. I know some fans in the UK and Europe and other parts of the world who would stay up super late to watch Leafs games. Ain't nobody staying up for minor league hockey, but Mark did, and damn it, that's one of my favorite parts of the internet, that one of the biggest Leaf fans in the world hails from England. And that's no hyperbole, that's exactly what he is. Follow him on Twitter if you want, Mark UK Leaf. What is goaltender interference? Hell if I know, dude. I know what a Calder Cup is! Does the Marlies winning the Calder Cup increase our chances on signing some good UFAs, knowing that there is a bright future for Toronto? In a way, yeah. I think players, like look at Trevor Moore for example. He was a university signing and a relatively unheralded one, and this guy just might make the Leafs next year. I think the Marlies should have no problem attracting guys like that. The only thing that would deter them from coming is how deep the organization is. But one thing that people have known for years, and the Calder Cup just cemented it, was that this is an excellent organization to be a part of and has had so many graduates. I don't think it's going to help you land a big fish like John Tavares or something, but it just proves that the Marlies and the Leafs are in tip-top shape. Kyle Dubas cup lift on a scale of 1 to Ovi. You know, Ovi's cup celebrations were epic, but he didn't do it wearing the hell out of a suit, did he? Have you ever heard a crowd angrier at the ref in a game where they won a championship? Well, Mike, I'm from Toronto, so I haven't exactly seen a lot of championships. So no. Sparks interfered with the puck crossing the line, but it was called a goal. Is that what goaltender interference is? I'm not even sure how to answer that. Purple. The answer is purple. How are you? Yeah! Also, this video brought to you by Advil. And this just seems like a good one to end with. Hockey is done. Now what do I do with my life? Aisha, wait literally a week and it's the draft. Hockey does not stop. And the Marlies don't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. And I'm just so proud of my boys. And that is it. This is my last video for a game until at least September. And I don't know if I'm gonna do post-game videos for the preseason, so it might not be till October. I've made a lot of videos this season. A lot of videos between this channel, the podcast channel, all the stuff I did that went up on Sportsnet, on TV sometimes. It's still a bizarre experience. Thank you if you watched any of it. I wrote too. I wrote stuff. Thank you if you read that. I wrote a bunch! So I'm gonna chill for a bit. Videos will probably be posted a little less frequently. I plan on doing some draft stuff, obviously some free agency stuff, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. Watch the Leafs trade for like Mario Lemieux or something. And then, like I think I've told you before, the plan is to just focus on making this channel as good as I can possibly make it, as great for you as I can. Because I gotta elevate, I gotta bring up my hashtag content to championship levels now, because Toronto is a championship city. So that is it for this season. Thank you so much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that the Toronto Marlies are the 2018 Calder Cup champions. That's one.